Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. My name is Ben Lüning, I'm the master taster of Whisky.com, and this is Horst Lüning, the senior taster of Whisky.com. And today we are trying the Glendalough Mizunara Cask 7 years.
So this is an Irish one and carries Japanese letters on it.
Yeah, I've actually been to the Glendalough distillery. It's a very small distillery, but I've talked to the people and they invested a lot into oak, and they actually got these Mizunara casks, and they actually teased me at the distillery that it's gonna come. I'm not quite sure if I had a glass of it. It's already now, I think, a year ago. And yeah, this was about to drop. I was expecting this. And Mizunara is a very expensive oak, because you call it Mongolian oak, even though it's more Japan and Korea where it grows, and probably in Mongolia as well a little bit. And also you call it the corkscrew oak. And if you've seen a tree of Mizunara oak, then you know why it's called a corkscrew. And yeah, so it's really hard to make staves out of this oak, because the tree just doesn't grow straight, and but a little bit of sawmilling. If you don't have a straight tree, it's not that that nice to do that. So I'm not quite sure if they actually even can do the quarter cut, or if they do other techniques to produce staves out of that. Yeah.
So here we have the St. Kevin here on the label, and this guy stood 13 days and nights with a blackbird on one of his hands, first breeding the eggs and then raising the cups, or how they call it.
Yeah. He was a monk who was fed up with the decadent life of an aristocrat, because he was an aristocratic monk or priest, or I don't know. So he lived in the wild as an eremit. What's it called? Eremit? Like a lone man in the woods, and sometimes he was depicted as naked and just living there, and sometimes he was depicted with a bow hunting. Sometimes he was like nurturing. I don't know. There are a lot of stories about St. Kevin, and there was a woman who was really fond of him, and she was tempting him, and he was too pure of heart to resist the temptation of flesh. There are tons of stories there. But if you go there, Glendalough, the Glen of Two Lochs, like Sweetwater Lake, and the Glen of Two Lochs is a very nice nature reserve, and
this is 13 days old.
And
7 years old.
There's a nice park there, and also a very nice restaurant there. Just to have a walk through there. It's very nice. The region. The distillery is not really open for public, as I know. I'm not quite sure. Maybe you can have a tasting there, but there's not that much to see.
So this one is 7 years old. So come to an end, please. Matured in American oak bourbon barrels, and then finished in your Japanese Mizunara oak cask. Is batch number 001. And the price is not that easy. It's between 70 and 80 something.
That's actually pretty easy for Mizunara oak. I think the casks are
it's only a finishing. They can use it for...
they can use it again in your thing. Yeah, okay. So, but the casks, I think you probably paid 2,000 for a cask for that.
This is, I think, a few years ago. 2,000.
Yeah, maybe the prices 7 years ago were a little bit better, or 3 years ago. And the Mizunara oak is nice because it has different flavors, more of a tropical fruit flavors, curry fruit flavors is said, and also pineapple and stuff. Ooh.
So there's a lot of exotic fruits in it, mixed with spiciness, a light citrus note, but the spiciness is strong just in the beginning.
Yeah, that's the Mizunara oak for you, probably.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, I just have to add a little oaky note to it as well. So you have a lot of fruitiness, spiciness, tropical fruitiness. Yes, maybe a bit of a spicy curry note to it. So just as I expect of a Mizunara oak. Pretty straightforward.
So I think I just had a Mizunara from some other distillery in Scotland, but I do not remember anything of it. So this is really new. Yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
Starting soft and then kicking in. Spiciness, the oak definitely, just together with a peppery note in it, or a little ginger. Then cinnamon. Cinnamon is as well quite intense, has a sharp note. And in the aftertaste, very spicy, long aftertaste, cladding my mouth. Oh, massive. So the aftertaste is definitely oak. Yeah.
I expected some spiciness in the flavor, but much more spiciness than I expected. You really have a full flavor in your mouth. You do have a bit of a fruitiness as well, but the spiciness with cinnamon and, I don't know, spiciness is always hard for me to describe because A, names in English, and B, they're really hard to pick apart. So I would say yes, it tastes a little bit like at an Indian restaurant. That what remembers me from. I always can't differentiate the spices at an Indian restaurant.
A single malt whiskey from Ireland, and it's I think unexpectedly spicy. I would expect that from a Scotch whiskey, but not from an Irish one. So Irish is typically a lot smoother than this. Yeah.
Yeah, a bit more rough than I expected. I expected a little bit more a lighter touch to it and a little bit easier, fruity.
Definitely on the spicy side of it.
Definitely on the spicy side.
Yeah.
It's a sipping whiskey, definitely.
Yeah.
€70, dollars. Expect a sipping whiskey.
Yeah,
pretty good. I
so
like it.
batch 001, whenever you see it on the shelf of your local dealer, it might be...
Maybe they just bought 1 or 2 casks and you get the next one in 3 years, a little bit less strong of Mizunara. Maybe.
Yeah, I would say they just fill from one to the other, so next batch will be...
Maybe
be available.
Maybe they're gonna do something different, like whole maturation of Mizunara. That would be interesting. Yeah. So that was it with our take of the Mizunara Cask 7 years old from Glendalough. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.